Hello, this is Romance Writers Therapy. I am Marty V. I am joined by Kate Pryor.
Hello.
And we are joined by Katerina Stone. Hello, Katerina.
Hey, Katerina.
Hello. I thank you for having me back.
Yeah, of course.
Who else is going to be our Bridgerton expert?
Normally I hate it when Netflix puts seasons into 2 parts, but it actually worked out very well for me because
right?
you had to have me on twice.
Yes. You're a resident Bridgerton expert. Katerina, you're back for Bridgerton.
I'm back for Bridgerton Part 2.
Part 2. So this is season 3 and the last 4 episodes that we're going to be talking about. So like, spoilers, my little friends.
I feel if you haven't watched by now, do you really even care?
Yeah.
Watch Bridgerton,
I know.
guys. It's been months. Come on.
Well, it's been a week at this point in time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I at this point, though, it's like...
It was a really long week.
It feels like a really long week. And also, like, it was really good. So, like, I don't know about you, but I watched it in a day.
Oh, same. Literally yesterday.
I
Because did not get around. I was trying to get a little watch party together, and then it just did not happen. And then it was like, oh no, we're recording tomorrow, so I need to like do 4 or 5 episodes in a row. But then it felt like nothing.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of people are saying like, yeah, but I didn't have time. It's like, I also didn't have time. And yet, here we are.
Yeah, I watched it while doing things. And I went to do a rewatch, like start a rewatch yesterday. And I got 30 minutes in. That's as far as I got.
Yeah, I tried to do a rewatch, but then I was like, you know what? I'm pretty confident. I saw this last week.
You know what's really weird is I feel like I'm not very confident. And I did see this last week.
Well,
but like I'm assuming that as we start talking, I'll have opinions.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think has been harder about this is that I liked this one a lot more. Like, I liked these 4 episodes a lot more. So I think that I don't have like as many bitchy things to say.
I mean, I'll bitchy things to say.
All right, go.
Okay, so the first 4 episodes, I still had hope.
Yeah.
I still had hope that the season would figure itself out, that they'd give Penelope the treatment I felt they should be giving her, the same treatment they gave Daphne and Kate. And then the last 4 episodes, I was like, oh, no, they're really not going to do that. And so my hope died. My feelings got hurt. And that's how I feel about these last 4 episodes. So... yeah.
Well, yeah. One of the things that I thought was interesting is that the romance was really not what pulled me in. But I do feel like it was a very compelling coming-of-age story about Penelope Featherington.
I agree. I feel that they made decisions about this season because they didn't think that people would want to see Penelope fall in love because she is not like a concave human. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, even, like, knowing that we had, like, 4 scenes that were either entirely cut or cut short that would have really solidified the attraction and the lust and the love. And I feel like they did a good job with the love. I think some of it hit corny for me, and I think that having everything else established properly would have fixed that. But I'm really disappointed in a lot of their choices. Like, I really am.
Yeah, so I did notice that you mentioned that there were a number of scenes that were cut, and that was not something I really knew before I watched something that you posted. But I think if I had known that, like, maybe I would have felt robbed of it. But because I just didn't know, I was sort of like, well, you know, Colin Bridgerton doesn't really have the range. Yeah, I'm good with what we got. But now that I know that they cut a lot, I'm sort of like, well, why?
Well, and like it just really makes me, because I've seen like clips of Luke, other parts and like plays and stuff. And like, that was really good. Like all I saw was a clip and I was like, that was some beautiful acting and it was very convincing. And then again, like when these two are in interviews together, their chemistry is just fire.
Literally through the roof.
Absolutely. Like, through the freaking roof.
It threw me for such a loop when I like watched their interviews and saw them like just kind of like being themselves together, and then I was like, why wasn't that at all on the screen, you know? And
I just wonder if like, I know that like part of Nicola's directions that she was receiving was like, hey, remember you're a virgin? Remember you've never kissed somebody before? And so, like, maybe there was a disconnect there where it was just, like, not, like, she had to pull back so much. But I did not feel like anything fell flat in her performance. I don't know what sort of directions Luke was getting, but I just cannot see why they couldn't pull off a very hot relationship with how these two are in real life.
Okay.
Right?
I'm going to take on the role of defender of the show.
Please do.
Very rare for me because
you know what, I love it.
Do you feel uncomfortable?
We've
had a full role reversal.
I'm always the kind of person who I would prefer to be pissing outside the tent than like making decisions in it, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard that expression.
Same. Yeah, that was quite. That's so graphic.
I'm sorry. My mother's from Northern Ontario, so
okay.
Doesn't mince words. Somebody asked me what I did all afternoon the other day, and I was like, I don't know, I was just fucking the dog. And they're like, what?
That's so funny.
Y'all are just up there saying this.
Well, because, like, I know the expression screwing the pooch.
I did.
Or, like, we'll say, like, oh my gosh, how many puppies are expected if, like, someone's really fucking it up, right?
Okay, right, yeah.
But, like, it's still more euphemistic.
Okay,
yeah, no, that was straight up just, I'm fucking the dog. No!
So balls deep in this dog.
So, for those of you who don't know, fucking the dog is like, I just haven't been doing anything. Is like,
okay.
Oh, okay. So it's a different meaning than I had too.
Oh, yeah, no. It just means like
ours
nothing.
is like.
I love that spiritually. That feels like the exact opposite of I got that dog in me. Spiritually, absolute opposite. And it's like
amazing.
I feel like we could draw some graphs here.
Oh, that's so funny. Because, like, screwing the pooch is, like, you keep on fucking up. Like, you're trying to get something done, and you keep on doing it all the wrong ways. And so, like, if you're expecting puppies, then you've fucked it up.
Oh,
I've never heard the expecting puppies part.
I've never heard that
I mean, that's kind of newer.
Is that all
newer,
you?
But it's definitely
maybe?
I think it might be, but I feel like it's being thrown around by not just me and Andrew.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Damn. All right.
Okay.
Well,
anyway,
I'm gonna use expecting puppies in the future.
I do love it.
It's kind of adorable, right?
It's cute, but it's bad. It's a cute way of describing a bad situation, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're fucking dogs.
The show. I think part of the reason is that the conflict in their relationship comes so early that like it doesn't make sense for them to have like a sexy marriage because they're like already fighting when it started. And I also think they've sort of established that Colin really does have a very emotional relationship with sex, and that he can't, he can't separate his feelings from like, lust and physical desire. So I think that, it created problems, but I understand why.
I appreciate that point, but one of the scenes they cut was like an angry sex scene after he finds her at the Modiste, like in the middle of the night, right?
It did seem like there should be one there.
I wanted to see
it really did seem like it. And like, tell me that's not fucking fire. Like, tell me that's not exactly what the show needed.
That's what I wanted.
Gosh, that's what I wanted.
But, yeah, okay. I was gonna be like,
yeah,
I
know.
He's such a delicate little bird. Remember that time he had the world's most boring threesome?
Okay, but like that's part of like what I wanted to see was like he's so tightly tethered, right? Like he is so tightly always like his conduct is so like bound that like if we had had a moment of like that opened up and unleashed, we could have actually been like, all right, sir, like way to go. Like, it would have been like it would have gone really far in the show, I think.
Yeah.
And then again, like I just can't help but like feel like and it'd be one thing like if as a viewer I could confidently blame this not on like the showrunner's perspective of Penelope, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like they just didn't realize, like, no, Penelope's fucking gold.
She's
like,
gorgeous.
That is, she's fucking gorgeous.
Did you
it's
see
not
her
pandering.
Skims ads?
Oh my god.
No.
They popped up on my computer or my phone or whatever, and I was like, who is that? Oh my god. It was like, she's so gorgeous. She looks like a Botticelli woman.
Right? She's like a fucking Renaissance painting.
Yeah,
yes.
She's beautiful.
Anyway, so like again, like I am not just offended as a viewer of the show. I am offended like as like someone who like I just want to like knock on the showrunner's door and be like, "Hey, by the way, Nicola was not your weak link." Okay?
Yeah.
You were wrong.
You know what it is?
You were fucking wrong.
There was something I saw that was like pointing out that in seasons 1 and 2, they went for a really clean girl kind of natural aesthetic for the makeup.
I did see that.
And then like this is the season where everyone's got gel nails and everyone's got like the lash extensions, full glam kind of look. And it's like, did they not think they could do a nice clean girl kind of makeup on Nicola and make us believe that she was like the most gorgeous woman in
desirable.
The room? Yeah, like she already is. Like there's not a lot of I don't know belief that you need to like manufacture here. Like just a little over the top.
I do
pizzazz.
not need to
like.
I will give them the benefit of the doubt that they went with like the glam and extensions and stuff like that to further drive the makeover trope home. So I will give them that. I won't outright say their lack of belief in her, but I'm still offended. You still pissed me off, guys. Like,
yeah. Well, and it also kind of felt, it highlights again that their cast is too big in some ways, and that they couldn't give, like, that they had to dole the sex scenes out between so many characters when it was her.
Yeah. It was a purposeful decision to make the cast so big this season.
Yeah.
I'm not against them like creating a storyline for the girl with the F name. I don't have the word Florence in my head. Francesca. Thank you.
She's in the books. They're setting up her story for later.
And that's exactly my point. Like, just like Penelope and Colin had moments in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Like, it hasn't been Penelope and Colin's turn in the first 2 seasons so much as it's been about Penelope wanting Colin but not having him. So now it's like, okay, well, she's got him. Let's see that.
What? Right? Like, it's...
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of like a funny little thought that, like, I think we've kind of touched upon in other episodes, non-Bridgerton episodes. This idea that, like, because Marty and I both wrote second chance romances, I want to say in, like, the last year and a half, maybe?
I think we could say within, like, the last 6 months. But anyway.
So, like, every time... Like, we were both kind of observing that, like, after we finished these projects and then went on to first chance or first time around romances instead of second chance, that there's, like, such a difference in, like, the structure and, like, what it feels like to enjoy, like, those romances because you don't get any of those little first falling in love kind of moments. And, like, it speeds the story up in some ways, but it also makes you feel like you're missing something.
No, I agree. And like when I read second chance romances, I always feel like that first kiss scene is not like it doesn't carry the same heat.
Yeah.
Would you qualify this as a second chance romance though?
No. But like friends to lovers, but like I'm saying there's this sort of element of like we're really missing out on all the fun little moments that could have made this a believable relationship, you know?
Yeah. They also don't have a great tension. Yeah.
I don't feel that. I feel like the choices they made us miss out on it. Because if they had given us a moment of like, clearly already Penn has feelings for him, right?
Yeah.
But she's kind of like put those in a box and moved them to the side, right?
Yeah.
But if we had gotten more moments like the like him watching her eat cake. If we had
Yeah.
gotten more moments of like, instead of like a shocked silence after her like comment about his eyes, if he had leaned in a little bit like he was going to close the distance.
Yeah.
Like if we had had a moment where they touched inadvertently and like you could see like the electricity zing between them.
Even if they like met eyes across the room from each other more often.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As opposed to like in met eyes as in like he's watching her and he can't stop watching her. She meets his eyes and like it's not an encouraging look on his face where he's like, go on, talk to other men.
Yeah.
But like actually like get over here, talk to me. Right? Like
Yeah.
that would have sold so hard. And so it's just like really frustrating that they didn't make these choices, and I don't know why when they did it so well in previous seasons.
Yeah, well, I think maybe you're getting to the heart of something here, which is that we don't see him pursue her at all.
Ooh, I like that observation.
And
Right?
it's one thing.
Yeah, because then he's just figuring her in the freaking carriage, and then he's like, let's get married.
Right?
Broad.
That felt
Like,
so
earn
rushed.
it. He doesn't earn it in those stages at all. I will argue, though, that I do think that he earns her love and he earns their partnership
I agree.
in a way that most of the other heroes do not. Because he has to go through the whistle down revelation and realize that not only can he forgive her for that, but that he actually likes her more because of it. And I think
that he continued to stay in her corner.
Yes.
Right? Like there was never a point where he like would have hung her out to dry. He was always going to be in her corner.
Yeah, and I love this.
Not always with a great attitude, but he did it.
Yeah. I love the part where he reads the letters from her and he realizes like, oh, of course she's whistled down. Like this is her, and I guess, as a writer, this idea of somebody being like seeing her through her writing is, I find it very attractive.
Romantic.
I did love that. It is
romantic.
Moment. That was such a good moment.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
Like, just like you have one voice and it's, God. But like, something that I feel like they could have hit harder in this season. See, they kind of hit it, not hard enough for me. Like, I just said that. But because there were all these moments where they were like, give up being whistled down. And it's like, of course, everyone's going to tell her that. Kind of sucks that, like, I expected more from, like, Eloise to, like, not be like, give up your dream, obviously. That's the way out of this. Like, give up this part of who you are. Like, all right, I really thought she had overcome, like she was...
Yeah. Well, and then her encouragement to Penn to step back into Whistledown was to save the Bridgerton ass.
Right? It felt like...
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see Eloise stick to the ideals she said she has said in the past that she embodies, but like has not shown that. But then like, so the thing that I wish they had done for Penn was like, she gets this one moment with like Lord Devling in the first half of the season that like she says, I like gossip, I like talking about people, and she likes having this witty, voice. Yeah. And I wish that was something we got to see Colin appreciate in her more, because like that line really sells it. But like, I wish there had been like some baby steps up to it where he kind of doesn't say, hey, quit this whistle down shit. Like he's saying, I understand that this is such a big part of you, and but it's just so hard. You know
who really gets that moment? Who really gets the like, wow, being little Lady Whistledown is impressive, and I'm proud that Penelope has done it, is her mother.
That I really liked.
Dude,
we
need to talk about Lady Featherington.
Fantastic. I mean, I think the older women have really brought it in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the writers were more interested in them than they were in their young cast of characters.
Agreed. Yeah. They did not sell the romance between Penn and Colin. But, okay, so I saw this conversation from a creator who was talking about how she doesn't see Lady Featherington as a bad mom, but someone else she knew did see Lady Featherington as a bad mom. And I agree, I do not see her as a bad mom. I see her as deeply flawed.
I'm on team she's a bad mom.
Oh, really? I see her as deeply flawed, but I think whether she is right in her actions, everything she does, what she thinks is best for her kids. I also think that, like, she understands power and power dynamics and knows how to, and is trying really hard to build power for her daughters in a world that will always suppress them.
Yeah, well, so I don't think she's a bad mom because she commits crimes. I have no problem with the crimes. I think she's a bad mom because she let her 2 older daughters abuse their youngest daughter, and that the youngest daughter was literally right in that she was so ignored. I see your
point.
But, like, that is it. From episode 1, season 1, you can tell, like, that's the dynamic here, and I think that's just so relatable.
Well, I think that's a very good point you make. Again, I do think that she's deeply flawed.
Yeah.
I don't.
But, like, that's the bad mom
but, like,
part.
compare her to Violet Bridgerton, right? Or not, that's her name, right? Violet Bridgerton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Violet Bridgerton is not a great mom.
I agree.
I think she's, I think she's a lucky
I think she's
mom.
really invested.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
but, like, she let her daughter get married without knowing what sex is.
Yes.
Well,
and
so that's everyone in this society at this point, though.
Yeah, but at least
it's
Lady
not
Featherington
Lady
tried
Featherington.
to describe it.
She was able to talk to her daughters about it after she realized they knew nothing. Granted, a little late, but, like, better late than never.
Well, but, like, also, so she has this conversation with Penn about, you know, sex. We don't know if that was motivated because her oldest daughter clearly didn't know, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it was motivated by that, but it's also possible that she tried to have this conversation with both of her daughters, but the one daughter just couldn't take all of the leaps through the euphemisms, right?
Yeah.
I think there's an argument to be made for that she did try to educate her daughters.
And I also think that she has money problems. And I know that is, you know, her money problems are not, like, you know, they're money problems light. She's still a member of, you know, whatever Regency Society. But she has desperation. And yet both of her older daughters married who they wanted to marry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, neither of them solved their family's problems through their marriage because they fell in love. And, like, granted, it's hard to sort of see, you know, the 2 older Featheringtons as, like, romantic heroines in their own right, but they got their romance stories. As much as, you know, Lady Featherington wanted to throw them at her cousin, they picked who they loved, and she had to deal with it. And you know, she's got problems, and, you know, she doesn't have sons. She doesn't have a husband. She has to do this all on her own. And yeah, she makes a lot of mistakes along the way. But somebody like Violet Bridgerton, who has everything, I mean, it's terrible that her husband died when he did, but she did not deal with it very well. As a mother, again, you know,
I won't be mad at her for that. Like, that's pretty earth-shattering.
It's pretty earth-shattering. I know that, like, WASPs and British people don't like talk about things. I mean, you know, her older son needed some support.
Yes, very much so. But I think also,
did not
like,
get it.
in that, like, incredible emotional state, I can see how, like, in hindsight, she could see, like, I failed him. But, like, in the moment, like, there was nothing else that she could do.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
So I will give her that grace personally. You don't have to.
And I think
but
that
I will.
also, you know, I think that she's become better as the series has gone on about parenting her different children differently.
I agree. I completely agree. I think that particularly the difference between season 2 Violet and season 3 Violet is pretty stark. And yeah, I think that that's quite the example of, like, character growth and her learning from, you know, her mistakes. Yeah.
So yeah, and again, like, I don't, sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said she's a bad mom, but she's got flaws. Mm-hmm. She's deeply flawed.
I don't disagree with, like, yeah. I'm still team she's a bad mom because she had a child who felt like she was so invisible she couldn't come to her with anything. Her emotions did not matter, and it's like, I feel like that's your number one job as a mom, is to, like, be there for the emotional development of your children. I get it, like the whole house and home and taking care of everything is important.
No, and I see your point. I think, to me personally, it's our number one job as a society now.
Sure.
Because we understand how much more, like, and not to make, emotional education all about like productivity, but we understand how much more like capable we are in life when we have emotional education. But like at the time she has like in Regency time, like she has these 3 daughters that like she can't provide for.
Yeah.
And so I can see how that like survival would be the most important aspect of her parenting for them.
Yeah.
I won't go as far as saying she's a good mom, but I don't think she's a bad mom.
Yeah.
I think that the choices she makes are, for one thing, very entertaining. But like there's plenty of comments she's made. I'm like, ooh, Lady Featherington, no. Like,
Yeah.
ow.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's plenty of times that she like guts me a little bit. But like
Also, like, in a better world, this is a woman who maybe wouldn't have had children, and maybe that would have been better.
yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put it out there. I hope that they don't immediately knock Penelope up on this show, because, like, I think she needs time.
They already did.
Sure, you saw the ending.
Wait, is she
Yeah.
pregnant at the end?
She had a whole
She
ass
has
baby.
a baby. Yeah.
Oh,
She's she produced the heir.
Oh, boo.
Yeah,
Oh, I
so now she
forgot
has
about
Lord
that.
Featherington.
And it's a boy,
Yeah.
too.
Mm.
Sorry.
I love how much they set that up in the show too. Like as you're watching, like, okay, everyone's gonna have a baby at the same time, but Penn's is gonna be the boy.
Yeah, 'cause
Right,
she's
like-
gonna win something.
Yeah.
Regency. You take the good with the bad.
It's so true.
You take the carriage sex with the immediate babies.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, were you virginal like 3 days ago? Well, here's a baby
Yeah.
now. Like,
Remember that sex life we were all so invested in? Well, guess what?
you never
It's
got it.
over.
Mm.
I also like what happened to our Lord Mr. Man.
Her brother?
I really don't like the first suitor.
Oh, the
Lord,
Stern brunch birding daddy?
Yeah, the one that's like he's all about nature and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm so excited to leave you in my house while I go do my own thing.
Yeah.
I feel like his whole
but I
dumping
really-
Penelope at like the end of episode 4 was like him being like, all right, I'm out of the show now.
I get that. That's one of the things I don't appreciate. And maybe it's because I'm like, I love characters so much. But this show, because I had the problem last season with the guy who was perfectly nice to Kate and like had a great attitude about falling into the water and like all this stuff,
yeah.
right? I had a problem with him just disappearing too. But like, I still want them to have HEA, so what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why do I need this?
They have 10 million characters on this show. You'd think that you could
Yeah. And I understand they're going to use
mash some of their
Cressida for
parts together
something.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Romance!
But like I was invested in him. Like he made one error and otherwise he was incredibly like wonderful.
Also, that, like...
That's all you get.
Milk-faced prince.
What ended up
Yeah.
happening with Cressida? Like, I thought she was supposed to run away by the end of the last
I thought
episode.
she did run away.
But like, didn't they hint it at? Maybe I missed that shot. Like,
She like
I
okay,
thought she
so there
got
was this
sent
whole
away.
thing about her hair. You guys ready for like the thing about her hair?
okay.
Yes, please tell me.
In that last shot, her hair is like done up in a cage, right?
Yes!
And so when she runs and gets in the carriage and is like, away, they had another option of her mom also getting in the carriage with her. And her mom's hair was done up with a key. And so like that was super
Ooh.
cute.
Oh, I love
But
that.
in the end, mom didn't also go with Cressida. But I still think that Mika, you might be right with your guess about her being the person that comes back for Benedict. So
I
like
don't
she
know.
disappeared. Well, I'm just making an argument.
I would
don't
love
know
that.
either. I would love it too. I don't know if everyone would love to see Cressida get that happily ever after.
Right?
but-
like if she plays the part of Sophie, but like then her name's not Sophie, so like I'm
But
kind
again,
of wondering, would they just axe an entire character?
Yes, why not?
I mean, sure.
I mean, while we're talking about predictions that I made last episode that might have come true, I didn't come to Glow, but since I'm here,
Well, you are here.
Francesca's queer. Francesca is queer. Set that one up.
Yep.
In the last
Yeah, I did.
episode.
Did not
fucking
expect that
redemption.
to come true.
And oh boy, was Twitter mad about it.
Oh
my
my
God,
gosh,
yeah.
I know, right?
Did you see Julia Quinn had to like put out a statement that like, hey guys, this is the way it's gonna be. Chill.
Okay. And
No,
you know
I
what?
didn't see that.
Let's just fucking be honest with ourselves. The reason why that happened is because people were attached to that character in a sexual way, and they're straight women, and now they don't want to fuck him anymore because he's a woman. And that's a perfectly reasonable way to feel, but for fuck's sake, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, man. Like, you can get another
like,
book crush. Grow up.
Well, and I don't know, man. Like, there's liberties taken all over the show. Like, I think that we are clearly seeing plenty of heterosexual representation.
Yes. And everybody's
like,
always cool with diversity until it comes for their thing.
Yeah.
This is what it means. You have to give things up. I'm sorry. You don't get this heterosexual romance. You can go look at 99.999% of other couples.
It's not even like they're giving something up. The book still exists.
Yeah.
The book is still very readable.
You can still enjoy
it. The TV show, loosely based on these books, is not like the book entirely. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
No, it's ridiculous. And again, it's like also just why would you put that on the internet?
People gotta people. They gotta.
Yeah.
That's a kindness. People gotta people is like quite the kindness. It's you can have your fandom and you can make it a part of your identity, but like understand everyone's going to experience and interpret this fandom differently. And I will give the showrunner, I thought it was one of the things I appreciate about her is she was saying how like she saw herself in Francesca and she is a queer woman. And so the opportunity to like bring that to the page, like bring that to the screen, like that seems like a very natural place for that to happen.
I think
right? Like it feels very natural for it to be Francesca.
Very well done.
Yeah.
And also, and you know, again, like we talk about toxic fandoms, you know, with regard to men all the time, but like
yeah, this one's us.
This one's us, and you know what? Like you have to bring new people to the table, and being protective over something because you got your rocks off to it when you were 15 is not a good look.
No, it's not. Your heterosexuality is showing. Be cool, dude. Maybe not your heterosexuality, your homophobia is showing.
Yeah, no,
how about
it
that?
is.
That's better.
Yeah.
No, I agreed, and you did call that. And you are welcome to that glow. So,
yeah, that's like a 3-pointer from like across the court, you know?
Yes. You know, whatever 3 points a shot makes. So.
Yep. That's, I'll take it. I saw it on the show and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to be really careful to not gloat on the podcast, but I'm not going to make it.
Gloat away. I'm not going to make it.
I'm not going to make it.
I was editing that episode and I was like what? Because I had forgotten you had said that, and then I saw it and I was like, or heard it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So I was like, because when I heard it originally, I was like, yeah, I don't know that I believe that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel like this is, I doubted you.
I mean, I thought it would make sense. I didn't know they'd be brave enough to do it, to be fair.
Yeah, like,
well,
that's
100%
it. It's like, when a show hasn't put forth like this is like the level of like brave that we're willing to be up front, it's kind of like when they've already spent 3 seasons not being brave in like these specific areas, it's like, okay, well, I didn't think it was gonna happen. But also like I've lived through the fucking Supernatural days of like fucking every year season everyone's like they're gonna put gay characters on the show, and it's like, no, they're not, they're seriously not. And then like it did last minute and it was like, oh, okay.
I never watched that show.
Yeah, I feel like my gay representation growing up was like on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but like all the lesbians died.
Yeah, like
they did.
There's the areas of everyone getting fridged, and then there's the area of like just extreme queer baiting. And yeah. And just like the after they have sex death. Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Great.
Yeah.
Gotta get punished. Gotta be gay sex is punishable by death on 90s TV.
For sure. 100%. Okay, I was having this conversation with another mom because she was reading I don't know, Akatar or something, and she commented that in like, you know, I live in a very evangelical space, and she is definitely participating in that. And she was like, yeah, I just skip over, you know, the steamy parts sort of thing. And I was like, well, I mean, if you decide to read them, I would never judge you. Like, I read like steamy books.
You just read them. Certainly.
Well, and then I was like, what's yeah, exactly. I don't like enjoy them. It's a very clinical reading.
Yeah.
But I was like,
never write my own. That's
no. I did tell her I write rom-coms and stuff. I did tell her.
Okay.
I was like, what's really interesting to me, not that I'm comparing sex with violence, but what's really interesting to me is that our society embraces violence in a way that we do not embrace sexuality.
Yeah.
And so like the next week she came up to me and she's like, I that sat in my brain, and I like, as I was reading, I was like, wow, this is incredibly violent. Yeah. And like, I had never drawn that connection. Like, yeah, I mean, a sex scene automatically an R-rated movie, but a lot of violence can be directed towards a demographic for 8-year-olds.
Yeah,
like,
I should just tell you, not in Canada.
Oh no,
not in Canada.
In Canada, you can have sex scenes that are 14A, and you can everything that's like violent is R.
Oh, really?
I think if it's like Marvel violent, it's 14A as well. But if it's like graphic,
like they don't
in any
show
way, if it's like
blood.
John Wick, it's 18.
Yeah, because like the Hunger Games was like PG-13, I want to say, but like it was very much. I remember being in the movie theater with like 8-year-olds, and I was like, how are we comfortable with this? Like, not to like judge other parents for the choices they make, but like, I'm having a hard time not judging you. And gathered I wasn't a mom at the time. And I think now I'm even more protective of the kind of like violence my kids encounter. It's a very weird like paradox in American society.
And again, like obviously like the culture is, you know, it is international and it crosses the border.
Oh, okay.
You know, everybody plays the same video games, watches the same movies, but the rating system is different. Mm-hmm. And also, what they censor in music is different.
That's interesting.
When I was a kid, there was a song called Teenage Dirtbag by a band.
I love Teenage Dirtbag.
And there was, when we listened to a radio, there was always a part where they would like scratch it. So that we couldn't hear it. And only when I was like an adult and I was listening to it on album, the lyric that they scratched out is, "He brings a gun to school."
Yeah. Huh. I knew before you said it. Yeah. Very weird that in a culture with a lot of problems with that we don't scratch that out. Maybe we would now,
but anyway.
We did it in the 90s. Okay, so Bridgerton.
Okay, yes.
Our society's weirdness about sex.
It's kind of like, can we just talk about plot-wise, like where are they going to go without like the Lady Whistledown plot kind of stringing them through this?
Well, have you read the books?
I have read them out of order and not all of them.
Okay. It gets worse without Lady Whistledown.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'm reading Eloise's book currently.
Oh, how I was gonna say,
how you doing?
I mean,
see, I don't remember seeing her really in any of the other books so far. Like, I didn't read Penn's book because I read them out of order by accident. I thought I was picking up Penn's book and I got Eloise's.
Yeah, fair enough.
But so Eloise wasn't really present in any of the other books so far. And it's like, all right, so I don't really know what she's like. And then it's like, she seems fine as a character. There's just like, I'm at this part with it where I'm struggling because it's like, yeah, you did do things that you knew were going to result in bad things for you. Like you did leave your house in the middle of the night and not really tell anyone where you're going. Of course, they're going to like worry. And you did show up at this guy's house unannounced. There's no chaperone yet. You did know that would get you ruined. Why are you surprised that your brothers are showing up and trying to like make you marry him now? Like, why are you upset when you could have like waited 2 months?
That your actions. Look, everyone, the consequences of my actions.
Right? And she like even kind of says, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. Why am I upset? And it's like, I don't know. It's a mystery. Like, I just want her to like have a little more.
She's so desperate in that book. She's just like,
I feel like,
and there's like, I'm going to go visit him.
I just got to this moment where like, so her brothers have all shown up at his estate, and then they were like, we're gonna talk you into marrying him. And then we're like all talking together. And then he pulls her away. He can like, Sir Philip pulls her away. He's like, we're gonna have a private talk now. And they're like, okay, yeah, I guess because you're gonna get married, whatever. And so the brothers leave them alone. They like, I don't know, walk all 20 feet away. And he's like, we're gonna have sex now. And she's like, what? And they've done like nothing so far. And like, can you not see she's in a terrible mood? This is where like every Bridgerton book loses me. About 50% through the book, the man will just suddenly be like unable to like read any of her feelings. And it's like, well, it seemed like you were getting to know each other. So this like backpedal away from like comprehension and empathy into another person is like really startling and also like such a turnoff.
Yeah. Well, and I don't understand how when she's like, I'm not going to marry him, because that's the kind of the message I'm getting, not having read the book. But she's like, I'm not going to marry him. And then him being like, we're going to bang it out. Like, that doesn't actually serve what she is saying at all, right?
Well, so she's like, yes, we'll marry, but I'm begrudging about it. And he's like, let's bang it out then, baby. And she's like, and she's also surprised by this.
Dude, wait like 12 hours.
Like, you could ask her, hey, maybe, do you want to talk about your feelings some? No? Do you want to, like, give it a minute?
No, he wants to finger her on the couch.
But, like, the thing is, nothing sexy was happening for him before that. He's just, it feels like it came out of nowhere because there was no even, like, watching, like, the wind in her hair and the curve of her neck or whatever. No, he's just like, let me pull her away. Like, it felt so fucking sudden. It made me upset and put down the book. I might be TNFing
Yeah.
it.
Well, also, I don't know, like, how far into that book you are, and it's been a while since I read it, so I don't know what part it's at, but, like, that book's depressing.
So
like,
far, yeah.
I have...
Like, it starts off on a pretty dark note.
Yeah, that guy's got real problems.
He does.
And sometimes I'm like, you know, obviously there needs to be conflict and romance, there needs to be internal conflict, it's the stuff that we like, but I'm sort of like, for that book, I was like, yeah, no, maybe that guy does need to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, and like the problem he keeps like having that like just from the first half of the book is literally he keeps going, oh, I want to be a good dad to my kids. Oh, I want to make them happy and know them. And then like he will just he won't do anything with them. He just sits there going, I wish I knew my kids better. And it's like, dude, you could ask them literally any question.
Yeah.
You could spend any time in their vicinity.
Dude.
It's so frustrating.
But he didn't want to
that line
do anything.
That
doing things is hard. Have you spoken to children? They're exhausting.
I went and saw Amanda, and her kids both think I'm very cool now. So, like,
they do too.
It's not hard to make kids think you're cool. You show them, like, one trick. You pull a penny out of their ear, and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
They haven't seen that
Draw a bunch of dragons and let them color them in, and then my kids will love you.
Yeah, I drew 2 dragons. I'm cool for life.
And they're very cool. They're cool for life.
And then you're part of their suffocating love.
That is true. I was once a camp counselor when I was like 13, 14. So I would go to like different parts of like as they needed me around the camp. And the part where it was like, we have all these like daycare kids. If you sit down, they will all just climb on top of you. And you just have to. You just exist like this. And like, I
kind of understand the appeal of like that sort of, you know, old-fashioned man, like, I will sit on the couch and the nannies will bring my children and they will be presented to me and I will say they look very fine and quite clean and then they will go on their way to their own meal. You get it.
Yeah.
You get it a little.
Yeah. But yeah, so do we want to bring it back to Bridgerton?
Yeah, we should probably bring it back to Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Kate's just like, oh, God,
no, I got a phone call. I was like, oh no.
Did we miss anything?
I feel like there wasn't that much that happened. Like, I really loved the ball scene at the end. The Finchworth dank with the bugs.
Oh, the bugs.
The bugs.
Her sisters were so cute.
I actually thought that was such a nice little scene.
Right? It was so wonderful.
And again, a wonderful scene of self-acceptance.
Yeah, you don't see that much.
Because the tall sister was really observing, like, the attention Penelope was getting And it seemed like initially it was going towards jealousy. But then the more she was like perceiving, the more it was like, she was like, I just don't understand what's happening. Right? It was like a curiosity. And so like, I'm really interested in like how this scene would propel like the sister relationship between the Featherington girls.
It's really funny because I honestly think the fact that Penelope had $10,000 to like pay off like her own blackmail really just changed everything.
Yeah.
That family.
Yeah.
God, I love that.
Oh my gosh.
For her.
Oh,
I loved her mom being like, after all this time.
And I know that like capitalism's bad and all, but like I really enjoyed that for Penelope. I really enjoyed her having money to solve her own shit.
Because it's not just like yes, capitalism's bad, but like also it's an example of like she has ascertained power in a system that kept on trying to keep her powerless.
Yeah, and worth.
Right, and like I think that that's one of the really incredible like aspects of that moment, right?
Yeah. And it
also,
was
hey guys, go ahead. No, I was just like, hey, do we want to talk about like how we feel about Penelope letting her family find out she's engaged via Whistledown? Like,
I was okay with it.
I mean, I was definitely okay with it. I thought it was pretty baller.
Right?
Like her being like, well, I guess they'll read about it in the papers.
If I had that situation,
to 100%. If she had told them, they would have just laughed at her. And I do, I think that would have been a good scene to have because it would really like, like it demonstrates just like how little they observe her.
Yeah. Well, and then also, okay, so one of the things I really loved was the timing and allowing Colin to stand up for Penelope to her mom. But something I didn't like was that the first time he told Penelope he loved her, it was like in third person, right? Like he's like saying I love Penelope to Lady Featherington and not to Penelope. And so I kind of didn't like that.
I did like that it came right after her mom was like, has he said he loves you? Like, all right, nip that bud.
Maybe it was more so like I didn't like the lack of acknowledgement of her hearing that in the scene. Like if he had said it and we got more than just like Penelope's back straightening, if we had gotten like a gasp from her or something like that, and then like, or like her being like, you love me, and him being like, of course I love you, right? Like that would have been, I would have been fully satisfied with that.
No,
right?
And I know
like,
Penelope would have liked it more too.
I would have liked that better for her. Yeah.
Can I tell a little story?
Yeah.
When I started dating my boyfriend, he's a nice man and all, but one time, I just started dating him, and my dog tried to get into the bed, and he was like, "Polo, don't do that, okay? We're not having threesomes, okay? We're monogamous." And I was like,
"Went back to fucking the dog thing.
Are we?
Oh, are we?" I feel like this should have been a conversation with
my
me.
dog this.
I do love that though. That's cute.
I do too. That's so cute. Oh, are we? Oh man. Also, so I do really love that you brought the great callback to fucking the dog.
You feel like that's a good note to end on, maybe? Full circle.
Full circle. We laid the foundation for this. Do we have any other thoughts or anything to share?
I'm excited for
just
Benedict.
Had a lot of fun doing this again.
Yeah.
I know.
I hope they do it another season. I know it's not for like another 2 years or some shit. Which is bullshit.
I am hoping that we get to see, because like we've seen Jonathan Bailey like kind of jettisoned, and I'm hoping that we get to see some more of these actors like display more of their range.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and like even Nicola has like quite a bit out. Like I still haven't watched Big Mood.
I loved Big Mood.
Did you? I want to see it
good.
so bad.
Heard of this.
It's like a contemporary show. It does deal with like mental health issues and stuff like that.
Okay,
but
no,
Nicola is
It's really amazing. It's just really.
It looks
it's like,
really good.
It's one of those British shows that's like 6 episodes, so it's like
Oh,
I
alright.
love that.
you can watch it over a long dinner,
Mm.
like a small basket of laundry.
I'm sorry, you said laundry, and I started like having hives.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up.
You really should have put a content warning before you said that word. Amanda, I'm coming in hot, or Marty, I'm coming in hot with some house care stuff.
Or you can just watch it because you want to watch it, and you can watch it with.
I think I'll do that.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up.
Oh man. But okay, so do we want to give a piece of writing advice? Do we want to make any predictions to say goodbye? Oh, I never got to tell you guys what I don't think is going to happen, what I think could happen.
Okay.
It's not a prediction. I don't think it's likely. But I think that this could work. So we have Cressida running away. We have a masquerade ball coming up for Benedict, because I'm sure they'll still keep that trope. And he could still fall in love with Cressida. Like, she could be coming back for nefarious reasons.
I would love that.
And I would love that. Because
Also,
she is incredibly clever. She just isn't the writer. Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I would love the idea of her, like, setting a trap. Like, meanwhile, he is, like, befuddled the situation by being charming. And she's like...
And she's ruined, so she could still be a governess or whatever she is in the book, or maid or whatever. But like, she could make it happen. Also, like, I'm invested in her. Like, she has to come back
I am
for
invested
something.
in her. She could come back as a governess, and like she could change her name and go by Sophie.
She could.
Like, maybe she like became a governess to like a family overseas, and then that family moved to London, and she's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like...
Although Benedict would have to be the dumbest bitch in the world to not recognize her.
I mean, but isn't he just?
If she's not doing her like intense slick back hairstyle with the really
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
circles.
no.
You know, I bet she would look entirely different without like those 2 foot tall
better.
sleeves. You know.
Let's be honest. She'd also look better.
I do like her looks. It's
TikTok
just,
is like my...
They're just so dramatic. They're just so
Yeah.
harsh.
Very avant-garde.
Yeah, you know, she like a little avant-garde sometimes.
Yeah, but like in her everyday life. So. But like I saw again like a TikTok that was like how hard the show is trying to convince us that Cressida isn't a total hottie. Like, yeah. Working real hard at that.
It's true.
Like,
they're really dressing her up like she's a member of the Lollipop Guild.
yes.
In order to like hide that she's like a tall, statuesque blonde woman
with really beautiful eyes. Okay, that's what I think is not going to happen, but could possibly happen. We'll have to re-listen to this one in 2 years when it comes out.
See,
Do you guys have any predictions?
I think she's gonna be one of the daughters, or the ugly stepsister kind of daughters that are in the Cinderella trope, you know?
Yeah, but she's maybe. But I don't know. I think she's gone through too much growth. And also, like, she's banished. So
I would love to see her be Benedict's girl. Like, I think that would be really cute and, like,
I would
wonderful to, like,
also,
see that payoff.
You know that he likes them a little
He
dumb,
likes a blonde.
You know? He likes a blonde who tops.
Yeah. Well, and then, I mean, they made, like, his love interest this season look so much like her mom, right?
So
Oh my gosh.
much like her mom.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was the same actress. I was like, oh my gosh. Benedict, stop hitting on Cressida's mom. Like, gee, dude. Like, but yeah, so what about you, Mika? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I said last time that I thought that they were gonna do that. Again, I don't want to jinx it because I want it a lot, but I don't think that they would set up Cressida without giving her the potential,
giving her something,
to be a romantic, lead in a later season, and I just honestly don't see where else she would fit.
Same.
And also she and the Colin that they've created work. And not the Colin.
I mean, Benedict?
Excuse me. Book Benedict is so different from show Benedict and is so much more wishy-washy that they can't do it. They can't do it that way. They have to honor the sort of mischievous, like, troublemaker they've created. And if they're not doing a, you know, queer plot line for him, or sort of, you know, I know he's bi, so he's queer anyway, but if they're not doing a male love interest for him, then they have to pick something exciting. And this would excite me.
This would excite me. I would love that. All
Love
right.
it. Katerina, where can they find
Katerina,
you?
where can folks follow you? Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter, which I very rarely use, or on Instagram, which I occasionally look at. I believe it's @Stone Katerina, and yeah, I don't know. Remember my name, because eventually I'm going to publish something. Who's to say?
Absolutely.
When? Who's to say when?
I think you should just do it like next month.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a week
I think
off.
you should just do it.
I've got a week off.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just do it.
Yeah, go for
You should.
it.
Just write a
Just
second
do it.
draft in a week. No big deal.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No. Just throw out the first.
I believe in you.
Put the first draft out there. It's good the way it is.
Oh,
It's
you say
fantastic.
that, Kate.
I'm a big believer in
Just
it.
get
we
a-
know better.
Get a proofreader. It'll be fine.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You don't even need grammar
You're
edits.
good.
You don't even need grammar.
It's Kindle Unlimited. They'll take anything.
Kate, where can folks find you?
Oh, I'm at kate-pryor.com. You can find my books, my newsletter, and all my socials there.
And I am at martyv.com. And you can find my newsletter there. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at martyvauthor. And this has been Romance Writers Therapy. Bye-bye.
Yay!
Ooh, quick note. If you've tried to buy Marty's book before and you couldn't find it, we fixed that. You can find it now.
Yeah.
Go buy Marty's book.
Yeah.
Hazel and Elijah get fucked?
Find out.
Find out.
Get fucked.
I
Fuck the
had a
dog.
little moment of like, I know what it is,
Wanna
but
read
like
that
I
book?
don't.
I
yeah.
think that's like your alternative. That's like your director's cut version of the book, okay?
Is get fucked.
In a better world, it would have been named that.
Dude, seriously. But yeah, they have great chemistry. They do get fucked. But anyway. Hi, Mom. I know you're listening to this. But yeah, I had a problem with my publishing, and Kate helped me out a lot. So, Kate's right. You should find my book.
I'm always right.
Okay.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.